in this opportunity. So at this time, we would like to get started, and we would like for our candidates, for them to come forward and to have a seat for all candidates that are present. Please have a seat. While our candidates are having a seat, and then Danielle is going to come up, and we're going to, of course, provide our rules of engagement. Okay?
While they are getting seated, we will allow each candidate up to a minute to introduce themselves here shortly. We will have a Q&A session where the same question is going to be posed to each candidate, and each candidate will have up to 1 minute to answer that question. After we're all done, after we've gone through our prepared questions and the questions from the audience, there will be a time for you all to also have a closing statement for up to a minute. If you do finish your answer within the designated time, you can just end it there. We won't be banking any time or anything like that. We're going to keep it kind of casual. So we'll just move on to the next candidate when you're done. Please try to adhere to the timer because we are, of course, on a time limit. Maria is our timekeeper, and she will let you know when you have 10 seconds left within your minute time to respond. Let's see. As I said, we do have some prepared questions from the Doraville Chamber of Commerce. We'll have 7 questions that we've prepared and would like for the candidates to answer. And then I know many of you have already submitted some questions in advance, but there are some index cards up front and some pens, so if you come up with some additional questions, feel free to grab one, pass it over to Maria, and we will try to get through as many of those as possible. We will start the Q&A session with Mayor Geierman. We'll start the order as it is on the ballot. So we have our 2 candidates for mayor and our candidates for city council. We'll start with Mayor Geierman for question number 1. Mr. Hart, you'll receive question 1 after him, and so on and so forth, and then we'll rotate with the next question. So Mr. Hart, you will get that question first, and so on and so forth. So we'll do a little rotation. So everybody will have an opportunity to speak first, and also then have some time to think about their answers. Let's see. I think that is about it. Try not to respond to any questions unless you're asked by the moderator or the host. And if we can all just avoid referencing other candidates, you just, of course, want to speak about yourself. So I think that is about it as far as our rules or guidelines. And yes, we are recording from the back here, so this will be recorded and available on the Doraville Chamber of Commerce Facebook page once the session is complete. All right, and so let's get started with some introductions. And Mayor Geierman, if you will start, you've got up to a minute to introduce yourself, please.
All right, hello everyone. I'm Joseph Geierman. I've been your mayor for the last 3.5 years. It's been a great honor. Over the course of that time, we've accomplished a lot of the things that I originally set out to do. We've rezoned Beaufort Highway and, in fact, our entire city to align with our master plan for our city, which means that hopefully we'll see the kind of growth that we, as a community, have said we want to see in the places where we want to see it. Obviously, we have a lot of new developments happening that have begun to take place under my leadership. Assembly, just this year, NBC Universal has taken possession and started moving in September. We obviously have a lot of new development along Beaufort Highway. There's the Rangewater development happening, the new Kmart development that's going up. And I would be actually happy. When I started, we've accomplished a lot of the things that I wanted to do, but I also think that we've gotten to a good place with our city, and I want to just make sure that we have that additional time to continue moving forward. So that's the time, but thank you for hosting the Doraville Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you for being here. He's also running for mayor.
My name is Tom Hart. I'm running for the office of mayor. I would like to thank the chamber for taking the time to put this on. And for the residents and business owners, taking time out of their busy day to come up and pose a few questions and try to find out where the city's going in the future. And the reason why I'm running for office, it wasn't intended. It was that the fact that my neighbors and friends called me up and said, we're concerned about the future of the city. We need somebody to speak for us. And that is that 95% of the city that doesn't have a voice. They pay the taxes every day, they go to work, but they seem to be shut out of the system. I want to open up City Hall again. It's a part-time position, but it needs to be a full-time mayor in an office up in City Hall. I'm going to reopen the office, and thank you for being here tonight. Thank you.
And Mr. Andy Yeoman, who's running unopposed for District 1, Post 2.
Sure. Thank you to the Chamber for having this forum, and I look forward to the conversation that we have tonight. Again, my name is Andy Yeoman, and I'm your District 1 council member, which is the Tilly Mill Winners Chapel area of the city. And I ran in 2019 because I believed that the city needed a renaissance. The voters obviously overwhelmingly agreed by sweeping in a new council 4 years ago. And today, some of those same people are back asking us to reconsider. And so I'd ask you guys to do exactly that, to consider all the candidates that are running tonight and determine if the trajectory of the city is on a good path, to obviously re-elect those that are on the council or best aligned with the people that are running for the open seat that are best aligned with the existing council, or if there's something you want to see changed. When that evaluation is done, I look forward to answering any questions that you guys have either tonight or after tonight about the ideas that I have, and go from there. So 4 years ago, we were a city that the businesses were passing to go to Norcross and Duluth, and finally, as the mayor mentioned, there's a lot of things that are happening in our city for once, and I'm very proud of that. Thank you.
Also running unopposed, District 1, Post 3.
Thank you, Danielle. I just want to say thank you to the Chamber for hosting this and everyone that's showed up and everyone on Zoom. My name is Warren Simmons, and I just finished my first year here on council, and I'm running again because I want to be the voice of you people here and everyone listening, and to get everything that you guys are concerned about and want in the city and bring it to council and bring it up for a vote. In the past, I was on the URA board, and I was on the planning commission, and I helped with some in a sense, some of the development that is taking place now, and this past year helped push through some of it as well. And I want to keep seeing Doraville grow as it is, and I think it's heading in the right direction. I'd like to be a part of that. Thank you.
And Ms. Carrie Armistead, you are running for District 2, Post 2.
I am. I'm Carrie Armistead. Thank you for having me tonight. Thank you for coming. I moved to Doraville in 2017. I fell in love with it, like so many of us did, and I got involved pretty much right away. I'm the recent president of the Northwoods Area Neighborhood Association. I am the secretary of the Friends of Doraville Library Board. I'm the city's appointee on the DeKalb County Public Library Board of Trustees. I was recognized as a Doraville Difference Maker twice in 2022, once as a member of the Sesquicentennial Committee, and once for my individual contributions. Professionally, I have a master's degree in library and information science, and I've worked as a law librarian for the past decade. So I'm an experienced legal researcher. I'm accustomed to managing multi-million-dollar budgets and contracts. I am also, as all librarians are, curious and open-minded. I work well with others, and I'm excited to use these skills and my knowledge about our city to serve as your next council member. Thank you.
And Mr. Ben Crawford, also running for District 2, Post 2.
Thank you. My name is Ben Crawford. I've been your neighbor in Doraville since the late 80s. My wife and I have raised 3 beautiful daughters within the city. I helped stop a trash transfer station from coming into the city. I got 750 signatures from residents and businesses to start the first Doraville Planning Commission. I served on the commission for approximately 6 years. I've helped start 2 art shows within the city, the first 2 art shows. I've been a Friends of the Library, and I've also helped with many library sales that have happened in the city, book sales. I'm been with the state for 27 years. The last 11 years, I've been Chief Inspector, Senior Manager under the State Fire Marshal's Office, overseeing the safety inspection program for the whole state. I've been involved with international corporations, national corporations, on projects with all the stakeholders from beginning to end. And I think my skills will be much served on City Council. Thank you.
There's one additional candidate for District 2, Post 2, MD Nasser, who wasn't able to join us this evening. So we'll go ahead and get right into it. As I said, we do have 7 prepared questions from the chamber. And let's see. Mayor Garman, would you like to start with the first one? It is, what are your 2 top or 3 priorities if, well, you are elected, but if you're elected to continue in your role? Your top 2 or 3 priorities.
All right, well, and we have a minute to do this. I think my top priority is really focusing on the downtown redevelopment. You know, one of the challenges that Doraville has always had is that we have been spliced up by all of these different pieces of infrastructure. We have 285, we have the railroad tracks, we have the tank farms, and they split our neighborhoods up, and even our downtown is sort of this big open area, but there's not really a lot of connective tissue here that pulls the residents together. Having a downtown that becomes a real draw for people, I think, will be a positive for our city. My second priority that sort of ties into that is to improve the general connectivity between our neighborhoods and to the downtown, so that it is easier to get from Oak Cliff to downtown, to the MARTA station, from Tilling Mill over here. You know, every day I talk to people if we want bike paths, etc. And so that's the other piece. But it's really to make it more walkable downtown for our Doraville for all of us.
First thing we have to do is open up City Hall again so we have a conversation with the people that live here and the businesses that live here. Second of all, we need to lower the business taxes in the community. But more importantly, we have to put the city back together. I work with the governor's office and GDOT to do all the connectivity in the city, all the traffic lights. We did a 6-month study on the city. All those planned because of our previous administration here throwing the trash can. We can start day 1 reconnecting the city, walkable, drivable, and put the city back together that was cut up by all the transportation sources like GDOT, MARTA, etc. We can start day 1. We don't have to spend millions of dollars planning the plan. We already have those plans in-house. We're going to save the city money and then start marching forward to a quality development. Thank you.
So, 4 years ago, we were a city that hadn't paved a road in 2 years, and the priority that I've had over the last 4 years that still needs a lot of work and priorities in the city is getting back to the basics of what it is to run a city, and that means we've got a lot of work. We've done a lot of work on our parks. We've started a pavement management program. There's never enough money to do everything. But the next 4 years, I really think that we've got a new park master plan for Honeysuckle that's coming up. We need to discuss the facilities that are there. We need to figure out if we're going to build a downtown, what we're going to do to replace things like the pool that are currently in the downtown. And so those are things that will be a priority of mine to listen to the community and bring those items forward, because I don't know that, for sure, as a member of the current council, I'll admit that we've maybe not done the best job of reaching out to the community and getting you guys' input on those things.
So I don't even know where to start. Everything's important to me, you know. So, but if I had to pick 2 or 3, downtown redevelopment definitely is one, and that involves a lot. Like as Councilmember Yeoman said, with the pool and everything within downtown, reaching out to the community, finding out what we want downtown, and getting their input, and making sure we do something that is what Doraville residents and the community need that helps benefit Doraville as a whole. So that would be number 1. Well, actually one of three. Also, like ran on helping the pet community with vaccinations, education, and all that. And within this past year, we had a healthy pet clinic in Honeysuckle Park. Had a record turnout of 885 pets vaccinated. I would continue on with that and help getting that out to the community of vaccinating, educating their pets. And then also, everyone keep on working on trails and sidewalks and connecting our city within and also connecting our city to other cities. Thank you.
I hate to echo my neighbors, but one of my top priorities is also the downtown redevelopment. I'm very excited about that. I'm very interested in making that kind of a new heart of Doraville that really reflects the needs of our community, which include library services. If the referendum does pass for the library services to be in that new building, there are still a lot of moving parts after that point with the county involvement in the library, so I'm looking forward to helping to shepherd that process. My other main priority is something that Andy mentioned also, improved communication between the city and the residents, both residents to the city about what they want and the city back to the residents about what is going on in the community. I think more communication is always better, different methods of outreach, different languages, different forums for doing that is really important to make sure that people know what's going on and their voices are being heard.
Well, I'd like to say that I'm not late to this rodeo, so I've been a community activist, advocate for the citizens of the city for many, many years. And I will, for one, hold meetings every other month with the communities of Doraville to hear their input, to hear their concerns, and find out what it is they want to see done within the city. That's my first part. My second part would be the downtown district. I think the city should move to redevelop there, continue with the development, but I think we should have a community that's live, work, and play. If you look at the communities around us, there's a big difference on their approach to downtown sections and areas they develop. They have restaurants, they have stores, they have apartments above the stores. It's just, it needs to be a little more focused approach to what it's gonna look like and how we perceive it. And on those things there, it's important that the community is involved in the decisions that are made. As my experience will help shepherd us forward in that direction.
Okay. And Mr. Hart, we'll start with you on the second question. And the second question is, what do you propose to support the business community and or economic development? Did everyone hear me? Need me to repeat that?
Can you get here for they can't hear on the Zoom.
Okay, so support the business community, I said before, you're gonna have to lower the taxes and provide services for them. Dumping taxes like dumpster fees and all that thing on the business community. And the biggest thing that'll support economic development is for the city to start making quality decisions. Do things where you raise the bar, expect more from the community. Construct things like you're supposed to be constructed. The business community respects quality and quality management. City Hall does not have quality management. It doesn't have a building official. They can't walk into City Hall and have a conversation. There's no mayor's office, nobody to talk to. They don't connect to the business community, and they filled all the retail spaces on Beaufort Highway with wholesalers and massage parlors. Business community doesn't respect the city, and when you have respect from the development committee, then you're going to have quality development. Thank you.
So again, the question is what we would do to support the business of the community.
I'll repeat it.
Because I was hearing things about dumpster fees and everything else. Like businesses should pay their own dumpster fee. I'm not sure what that's about. But the,
Do you want me to repeat the
no,
whole
I
question?
got it.
You got it?
So the, in terms of economic development, we have to create a city that promotes economic development, and what I mean by promote is creating a culture of positive things in the city. I happen to go to City Hall a lot, and it's always open, and it's the first I've heard that it's closed. And we need people in the Economic Development Office, and the mayor's done a good job of leading these things that come to us. Yes, we're a city that is full of 1960s shopping centers, that is not Class A retail space. Slowly but surely, those will be redeveloped or repurposed, and I hate to toot the horn, but we're starting to see a turn of that as some of these things turn over. We're finally seeing some name brand, if you will. Restaurants fill the spaces at Pine Tree Plaza and things like that. Yes, it's a chicken wing franchise, but those are different things than we've seen before, and we'll continue to see that. I've met with a developer a year and a half ago that was trying to buy the Burlington Shopping Center. And he had a great plan, and he had great tenants actually to come into that, and the city was very supportive in working with them. Unfortunately, he didn't get to buy it. They sold it to somebody else that wants to keep it pretty much the same because it is a cash cow. They're 100% leased. They're making money on these shopping centers. So the city can't kick out a business owner because they're running wholesale. We have to slowly make those things kind of move out of the community.
So I think my point of view, and I think some stuff that we have done as a council has worked. The comprehensive plan, redoing the zoning, the master plan, zoning every parcel correctly so it works on a business aspect. If you have your master plan and zoning correctly, the businesses see that you have the correct businesses that you want in the certain areas, then they're going to come. Also, we have streamlined the permitting process. Of course, it's never perfect. We're working through that, but we have helped streamline the permit process, which helps the businesses come in, get permits quicker, start building better, and put good quality businesses here in Doraville. And we've also helped with tax incentives that helps the businesses come in, but does not hurt Doraville with these tax incentives. So I would say just keep on doing what we're doing with the tax incentives. Our master plan, I think, is where it needs to be, and the businesses will come. It's just taking time, and now we're starting to see the fruit of everything.
Is this working? Thank you. Thank you. I agree that the city has made good strides in this area. They've worked on straightforward permitting and smarter zoning and the tax incentives that have brought us things like the assembly project. Those are all great strides. I would agree that we should continue moving forward in those areas, and that as Doraville starts to change, that's going to naturally attract different businesses, more businesses, maybe some marquee business names. But I would also say, in the excitement of attracting new business, we don't want to neglect our existing small business owners, small and large business owners. But one of the things that makes Doraville so special is our unique small businesses, and we don't want those people to be priced out of their real estate or to otherwise feel like they're being ignored in the face of new development. Thank you.
I tend to agree that the way to attract the businesses is to have a thought process. The city needs to have a thought process. The council has to have a thought process where you're showing them what it is that you can offer as a community for a business to come in. Having the GM plant redeveloped as a movie studios and the other things that will come in there because of the comprehensive land use plan are helpful. But those people that come in there, like other people have said, they're gonna have wants and needs that we right now don't supply. You can say, well, they'll just come our way. We have to be proactive as a city, and we have to look at those things and supply them for the people that are gonna be coming in to work over the movie studios over there that are gonna be the people that come into the city. There'll be a lot of new faces that show up, and we can be proactive on that and supply the types of business that are going to attract them. Thank you.
Well, I think that we've done a lot already to try to make the city a better place for people to do business. I know that we have instituted a lot of streamlining in terms of processes when it comes to permitting and business licenses. And nothing's perfect. We have a business engagement manager now who speaks Spanish and is able to make connections with people in the business community, help get the city engaged with our business community. We've done partnerships with the Doraville Chamber of Commerce. I also, just make a pitch for why the position of mayor is important. When Gray Television wanted to come to Doraville, they wanted to meet with the mayor. They wanted to make sure that this was a place where they could actually get their deal done. And you want to have somebody who's credible and able to represent the city well to do that. And so I'm proud of what the city has accomplished. I know we can do more, but I think we are on the right track right now.
Mr. Yeoman, if you'll start with answering question number 3. If you could bring one major new business to Doraville, what would it be and why?
Well, if anybody says Publix, I'm going to boo. But let's just pick something other than Publix. But one business that we could bring to the city that would we talk a lot about work, play, and walkability, and the trails and sidewalks and all that stuff. But none of that is as important. I'm not going to say it's not important, but none of that is as important. If there's not a place where people can actually live in the community and possibly work in the community. We don't have a job center in the city. That left when GM was the only, it wasn't just for Doraville, it was a regional job center for all the Atlanta area. So when the movie studio is coming in, that's going to be about 3,000 people working in our city. Those are 3,000 people working and eating lunch and spending money in our city. We need more of those. We don't have another 120 acres to spend, but there will be some opportunities at the assembly site to have some more office tenants and things like that where people can work. And it doesn't just have to be office, it can be skilled things that we're going to see spin off of the movie studios. Y'all, I'm telling you, we haven't seen the beginning of the jobs that the Gray Television is going to create in the city. It's going to take over. They're going to be leasing space all over the city for the things to support that. And we haven't seen that yet because they're not doing the grand opening for another couple weeks. And then there's the strike that they're on. So all those things are going to start materializing. We're going to not recognize the city in another 4 years about the types of businesses that we see.
Well, I'm glad Mr. Yeoman said not to say Publix, so I guess I might say Trader Joe's then. But, with what we have out there with Gray Television and NBC, I think a hotel, a high-end hotel, would be great here to help bring in revenue and bring in some tax dollars to the city as well as Trader Joe's. So I do think both of those would be great businesses here in Doraville, but for the latter on Trader Joe's, we need to work on our density for them probably to bring it here to Doraville. But the answer to this question for where we stand right now with what we have coming and what we have developed, I would think a nice high-end hotel would be good to bring here to Doraville to help us prosper with Gray Television coming in.
I do love Trader Joe's, that's a good one. But I guess I think about the things that I go outside of the city to spend money in now, venues. Well, the first thing that came to mind was a music venue, some kind of entertainment venue. I know there's going to be an amphitheater at the Assembly development, but I don't know if that's an indoor performance space. I think would be a really great thing to have in Doraville. I'd also love to see some more brew pubs and places like I go to in Chamblee, and I wish that I could spend that money in Doraville. And I've heard a lot of people say grocery stores, Publix, Kroger. That is clearly on people's minds. We would have to be wary of the competition with our existing grocery stores, but that's definitely something that I think would be a popular decision. Thank you.
I have to say, the things that I'd like to see would be coffee shop, perhaps have, I know we have coffee shops here, possibly coffee, tea shops, more mom and pop things that people would want to come into the city for. A grocery store, demographic wise, may not be something in the competition that's around, may not be something that's really feasible, but it is a thought process that we need to look at. And one other thing that's not really a business to bring in the city, a real big advocate of putting some kind of fire station right on the corner of that GM property. We have no coverage for our homes when the fire stations are around us. The one at Peachtree, the cab, needs to stay down there. We have jets down there. We have a tank farm right up the street. So I'd like to see that, say, it's not a business, it's kind of government, and everybody likes to call government business. But I'd like to see a nice fire station for the city. It's about time we got one.
Well, I think one of Doraville's strengths is already its business community. I think we have a lot of amazing businesses. And as Councilmember Yeoman mentioned, with NBC Universal coming to town, we are going to see an explosion of people coming to Doraville and wanting to spend money. And there's going to be an add-on of businesses catering to those people as well. You know, rezoning Buford Highway wasn't just about like rezoning Buford Highway. It was about making sure that we can have denser development along this strip that was previously just commercial strip malls. And by doing that and adding density to our city, we will be able to see more businesses like the grocery stores that people ask for, like different, if you want a chain restaurant, like there probably will be more chain restaurants too. I like Doraville the way it is in terms of the business community that we have, but I do think that by adding density to our city, we are going to have more diversity of what we can go and what everyone can enjoy. So I think we are on that path, and I am excited to see what happens in the next 4 years. I agree with Councilmember Yeoman that we are going to be surprised at how much changes, and it's important to have good leadership at the helm when that happens.
The major new business that Doraville needs has already arrived. It's when Gray Communications bought the GM site. That's an economic engine that's going to drive the city forward. And we need to build businesses and housing and developments in the city that complement that development. 400 square foot apartments in density do not complement that development. Discretionary income drives the economic engine. We need middle and upper income housing. We have to protect the environment here, and we have to build a city where people that work at that GM development want to live. There are so many spin-offs from that production studio that will completely fill the economic engine of the city. The problem with Doraville, it keeps on putting things like housing projects right in the middle of their development, which resulted in a year delay because we had to go through lawsuits. Doraville City Hall needs to get out of the way. We've got an engine already that's fired up. Let's move forward with quality development. Thank you.
Thank you so much, candidates, for the first round. We are going to proceed with additional questions. And we'd like to go ahead and start with Mr. Simmons with our next question. If the city were to receive a grant, what would you do with it and why?
So if we got a grant, I guess it would depend on what are the stipulations on what we can do with that grant. We have received 2 grants recently from Senator Ossoff's office for pedestrian safety on Buford Highway and a lot of road safety stuff. So that's what we've used it for. It specifically stipulates what you can and cannot use it for. So depending on what the grant is, I would hope it's for working on our sidewalks, pedestrian safety, and connectivity. A lot of that is what our grants have been for. We also got grants for our parks, and we use those grants for the parks and upgrading lighting. We're working on upgrading restrooms or adding restrooms to some parks. So the grants have been very helpful in what we been able to do. And actually, I think we got another grant recently to help connect New Peachtree from Oak Cliff coming down to the MARTA station. So I would do what's within our guidelines.
Great, thank you. Armstead?
I agree. If this is an imaginary grant that I could make be anything I wanted it to, that's fun. So I think I would use it for starters to build one of those prohibitively expensive bridges across 285 or across Beaufort Highway that we talk about wanting. Again, to increase connectivity, I think that's really important. Maybe build some more pieces of the Peachtree Creek Greenway to connect our neighborhoods together, to connect our neighborhoods to the assembly site. Yeah, I guess the sky's the limit. But I think also investing in our infrastructure in our neighborhoods, if we had all the money in the world, we could do a lot of those projects that often get delayed.
Yes, it's nice to have a grant like that. So the first thing I would do is I'd probably add some kind of security lights to parks that are unsafe for women to walk and perhaps get raped. We had a park where a woman got raped in. And I'd make sure we added security videos over there connected to the police department. And that would be part of that grant. Another part of that grant, from this wish list grant we get, is I'd go ahead and add some elevators over there by the staircase that leads to the GM property over there. So people could come into our city, take water into our city. They could hop on a couple of elevators, glass back elevators, so they're safe that way. The police can see people on the elevators. They take them down to street level and just walk right into the GM property. So that's one way to connect ourselves from upper level Doraville down to street level GM property. That's what I would use the grant money for. Thank you.
Thanks. Well, since I've been in office for the last 3.5 years, I'll talk a little bit about the grants that we have gotten, which, you know, is a small city. We can't do a lot of the extra things besides paving roads and, you know, maintaining our existing infrastructure without grants. So I went up to Washington, D.C. and was part of a group meeting with Senator Ossoff's office and was able to present to them the need for improved pedestrian safety on Beaufort Highway. His office worked with us for the better part of a year, and at the end of that, they were able to get our grant request for $1.5 million into the federal budget, which got passed, and the city is now going through all the steps that the federal process requires to be able to make those few safety improvements. You know, it's expensive to do a lot of this stuff that we're looking at, and the city is not going to be able to do it without grants, and that's why it's important to have people elected who can build those relationships and go to our federal and state government and get the grants that our community needs.
I had this conversation with a former police chief about critical needs in the city, and one would be a public service center where we would have the police department and a fire and rescue. We're the only city in northern DeKalb County that does not have fire and rescue. And put that in the location on New Peachtree Road, that would free up the 8-acre park we have downtown. So it's killing two birds with one stone. You get a critically needed service in the city, and your 8-acre park that was, and they put a police station in the middle of it. So that's what I would use for the grant. Thank you.
So, I like this question too, hypothetical money. And the first thing that would have to happen would be a needs assessment. And I'm gonna guess what the needs assessment would come back for. And the number one need that this community has, I believe, is the horrible condition of our schools in the city. And whatever we could do as a city to come up with a grant to put an actual facility in this city that children that live in this community would be very proud to attend and would help the community, would help our residential neighborhoods to actually bring families back into this community. There's a reason, Tom, that they're building $2,200 a month apartments, is because, you know, small apartments for single people, because they're attracting people, we're attracting people to this community that don't have kids. And that's sustainable for a while, but it's not sustainable for a thriving community in the long term. And so that's what I would try, whatever possible way, to spend money on if we had a fantasy grant.
Thank you all. Thank you so much for that. Our next question is in regards to what is your overall vision for the city? And it's a two-parter. Also, in addition to what is your overall vision, but also what would be your key accomplishment during your term? Okay. And so we will start with Ms. Armstead.
When I was trying to come up with a campaign slogan, I thought I'm committed to a connected community. So I think my overall vision for the city is that the different neighborhoods, the different parts of the city, the different demographic elements of the city would feel more connected. I think Mayor Geierman mentioned, we're so divided geographically by 285 and Buford Highway and all of our various communication issues. So I see a more connected community, and I already forgot the second part of your question.
And the second part, with your key accomplishments for the city council during your term.
So the city council needs to be smart about spending fantasy grants and actual grants to help bring these things to reality. We need to be thoughtful planners and take things in logical steps. We need to make sure that we are bringing the right people to the table to have these discussions and ask the right questions. I think that's one of the things that I could assist with, is just the value of gathering information before you make these big decisions. Thank you.
Thank you. Good question. Well, my campaign is Together We Succeed. And the reason for the title of that, why I chose for that title of my campaign, Together We Succeed, is the connectivity between all neighborhoods, all of us working together. It's important that we all do work together as a city to accomplish what we want to accomplish. So anything that happens within the city is a group effort. I feel like I am a person that can work with everyone on council, embrace them, work with them, find common ground. I have lots of experience. And the second part of your question there would be that what I feel we can accomplish as a community is bringing everybody, getting everybody involved, letting everybody know that they are part of the city, seeing the changes that have happened so far, and the changes that are going to happen are things that they're a part of, and they'll feel connected, and they'll feel good about living here in Doraville. Thank you.
So, what I want to accomplish in my second term is really an extension of what I wanted to accomplish in my first. I first decided to run for office at all because I served on the comprehensive plan committee back in 2016 with Councilmember Kuntz and many other people. And I was taken with the vision of a city that is more connected, that is, a place where I can age in place and I can get everything that I need right here. And, I don't know at the end of 4 years that we're going to be at that place, that our comprehensive plan says, but I do think that we will have a more connected and a city that is moving in that direction. And every action that you want to see takes a lot longer than you wish it did, and a lot more work, but you need people who are willing to go in and do that work. That's why I've put myself before you, before and now, and why I want to continue to be your mayor.
In 2007, Georgia Municipal Association stated the city of Doraville as the most efficiently run city in the state of Georgia. We ran the whole city with qualified individuals for 7 people. Now we have a cast of 40 people that can't even answer the telephone. We want to bring City Hall back with qualified individuals, each one of those positions certified planner, we need a building official. We need to put the city back together with officially run staff, first thing. You don't have to build 3 more buildings to hold more people that are not doing a job. They've subcontracted all the jobs out to other people that do all the billing outside. They can't even cut a payroll check anymore. So let's get the police, we could cut the budget right now by $3 or $4 million, just get the city run properly. Thank you.
Sure. So I guess just to start, it's come up a couple different times tonight. The city has an engineer as the building official. He's a PE, which is the highest level that you can get as an engineer. In fact, there's 2 of them. So I'm not sure where I'm hearing now the city hall is closed and we don't have competent staff. The planner has a master's degree. But anyway, the overall vision for the city is, as we move forward, I think about when I moved to the city in 2015, and I attended my first council meeting, and it was drama. There was drama up there. And the overall vision that I have for the city, and what I'd ask you guys to consider as you're thinking about making these choices, is do we want to be a city that has a positive outlook and people attend a council meeting, that they see competent, well-mannered people up there making those decisions? Or do we want to go back to a time where there were, council members fighting with each other and doing ethics complaints and things like that? And I hope we continue on the same way.
Can you repeat the question?
Sure, no problem at all. What is your overall vision for the city? And if elected or re-elected, would you like for it to be your key accomplishment during your term?
Okay, thank you. So the answer to the first question, I'd say smart growth, but a taste of country in the city. I guess that'd be the best way to explain it right there. We're helping Doraville grow, but we're not so busy where you can't go down your own street and walk and cars are flying by. So I'd say smart growth with but a taste of country in the city for that first one. And if I was reelected, we've been working on connectivity, as everyone else says. We've been working on sidewalks. We've been working on paths. We've been working on getting grants for all this. It costs a lot of money and it takes time. And what we've been using, all the funds we can when we budget, that's what we've been using it for. Working on getting these developers to come when they build these communities. We've been telling them that they need to work on the path and sidewalk to help connect it. We've been footing the bill to them. So we've been working on that as council through what we've been doing for the past few years. Thank you.
We'll start with Mr. Crawford with our next question. Do you have any thoughts or plans on how to help build a skilled workforce?
Good question. One way, and actually it's kind of keys into the department I work for now, we're having a hard time hiring skilled inspectors. Real hard time. We have 10 vacant positions statewide. So it's not just, Doraville will suffer from skilled workforce, it's all across the state. So first of all, you have to establish the need. What skill set do you need within the city of Doraville? That would be the first thing I do, is establish what jobs are going to be available, what kind of skills are going to be needed. And you could have a training center here, or you could partner with local community colleges and local tech schools to see what, to see the training, that's the kind of training you can get. The other thing is you've got production studios here. And Atlanta's known as another Hollywood, basically. So there are facilities for training of electricians and grips and all kinds of people that will work at the studios. So I'd look to partner with the studio over there for training people they may need also. Thank you very much.
All right,
There's a few things. First, I'm just going to touch on it, but Councilmember Coons worked very hard to try to get a technical school to Doraville, which makes a lot of sense to try to get our residents who are younger a path to some of those technical careers. We're still working on it, but I think that is a good vision for our city. Also, we are on the brink of having DeKalb County Schools start working on building a new high school in our community. There's been no high school here for the last 30 plus years, and this is huge. And so the city council does not control what the school board does, but my job as your mayor is to be lobbying them every chance I get to make sure that that project does not fall off the list and that it stays on track, because we need a high school in our city so that kids don't have to be bused 40 minutes to Cross Keys. And I think that will make a big difference on who wants to move here as well. So there's a lot of things that we can do. Those are two of the things that we've been working on.
The GM site with Great Communications has a lot of spin-offs from machine shops to woodworkers. They have job skills of being, it's a program like a European program where they actually start from the basement and work their way up. They build these job skills. Having the high school here will be a big thing if it's done the right manner. But the biggest thing is that the city of Doraville has closed a lot of businesses here where people build those fundamental skills in. They want to get rid of the body shops, you want to get rid of the repair shops, you want to get rid of all these little skill building jobs that people build these. Not everybody goes to school. I've got a master's degree, but that doesn't, my life experiences and the fact that I started 3 corporations are the job skills that I bring to bear when I bring these things to the city. So we need to have those businesses that allow these young people, whether it's in computers or whether it's working with their hands, is to be able to have a job in the city, and you don't want to just fill it full of apartments. That doesn't bring job skills. Thank you.
Sure, so I was actually going to mention the same thing that the mayor did. The mayor and I, 2 or 3 weeks ago, met with the Chief Operating Officer of the DeKalb County Schools, and of course, and so I guess I'll give you guys a sneak peek. They're going to start community meetings this month in October for the new high school, and there will be next month and through November. And as we were looking through those plans, of course, I was the wonky person looking at the number of parking spaces and things like that. And it was the mayor actually at the end of the table that said, how are you going to interface with the community and partner with Gray Television Studios and bring some of these technical skills to the businesses in our community. So he's really to be commended for that. He's already done it. I was in the meeting when it happened. The answer to that question really is that I can't stress enough the importance of the new high school and being able to partner with our businesses to bring these technical skills. When I was in high school, there was shop class, that was it. And I didn't particularly like shop class, so I think it's kind of cool that these schools are partnering with multinational companies now to do things like lights and sounds and videography and things like that. All skills that I would have loved to learn when I was in high school.
So thank you. I was going to echo what the mayor said too about the tech school and what Councilmember Coons did, bringing that tech school in. We've had talks with them and trying to get this tech school here to Doraville, because my thought process and sort of how I've seen it happen, as well as the high school, if you have a good school here, the people are raised here, they grow up here, they go to school here, whether they go off and come back, they're gonna come back and bring those skills here. They're gonna wanna live where they grew up. So if you have good schools, you have a good tech school, a good high school, that's gonna help keep good skills and a good workforce here in Doraville. Another way also is as we did with the master comp plan with the zoning, and it helps bring in the businesses that helps bring the skills that we want here in Doraville. And then if you're talking about maybe city staff on skills for here in Doraville, it's just incentives, market rate for employment, and of course that costs money, but we're trying to stay competitive and keep a skilled workforce here at city staff. Thank you.
agree. I would love to see a vocational school in Doraville. I think we are the perfect site for it. I would also like to explore the possibilities of encouraging our local businesses to start apprenticeship programs and things like that. Maybe there are some incentives we could give to that. But I think one thing that hasn't been mentioned yet is that keeping library service in our community provides such a base for a skilled workforce as long as they stick around. Libraries are smart investments. They support literate, engaged, and informed citizens. So as long as we have that service in our community, that's a great start for a lot of kids and adults as well. And that's something that the city can control, unlike the schools, although I am encouraged to hear that about the school system. Thank you.
Thank you so much for all of our candidates. We really appreciate all of the answers and responses that you have provided. At this time, we're going to take a short break, just so that we have some questions from our audience that we are going to go over in just a few minutes, but we'd like to take just a short break. That's okay with you? And then if we can do about 3 minutes, and maybe 5, I guess. Give you time to go to the restroom, get something to eat, and then we will come back in 5 minutes. Okay? Thank you, guys.